So last time around, last Monday's stream, we finished Creed Astral. It ended up being like a 5-hour stream. We're going to do like a server tour of the Creed Astral server. Look at kind of things, what got built, and just look over things. Just kind of as a recap of that. Alright, and away we go. So let's go over to spawn. Oh, a little framey. As long as the stream doesn't crash. Yes. Alright, I'll look in there in a minute. So, when I started out, the better part of a year ago, I think the actual, like, 0-0 is... Where is it at? Over... Right about here. So we spawned somewhere here. This is all forest. Like, all of those birch trees. It was, like, filling up this whole space. I think I actually spawned somewhere over here. And I came across one of these World Gen structures. This house here. Although it didn't have the all the wine stuff on the outside back then. And it had a little train station here. Not all the extra tracks, but just the single track. Going from there over to there. And this is where it kind of all started. Just in the spawn area. Trying to remember the series of events, right? So... Definitely pretty early on, like before those builds over there happened, I dug down, right? Looking for... Here we go. Can we get a good view this way? Eventually found that Shimmer Lake down there, but before that, dug down, right? Found this cavern. I think probably my first death. Yes. I mean, this is on 1.18, so you have you don't have the Warden in this, or the Deep Dark, but you have the, you know, the extended depths here. So we found this cavern, and I think I died to a skeleton. That might have been my first death playing this. But we kept on digging, and eventually got down to bedrock, which we needed to do just to do some of the specialized stone gen in this pack, right? So if you make water and lava meet on top of bedrock, so that's bedrock right there, it will give you random kinds of stone. So sometimes cobblestone, but also, there you go, some diorite, also granite. Now there's some going there. We ended up making a second one of them over here. And then there was a pool of lava here, initially at the start. Pool of lava. And then, fairly early on, let me think of the chain of events here. I think... Ooh. Oh, interesting. So we have some leaks from our stone generator. I'm looking over an OBS and it looks a little framey. Is it just the preview, or am I framing on the stream? Let me know. All this playing around might not be good for frame rates. But that's right. So Meteor Livestream, who was one of the earliest followers of this channel, actually had gotten on the server at one point. I think, am I remembering this right? He helps me gather the materials to make this very first windmill. So this is based off of a blueprint from the Creed Astral Discord. Alright. It says my stream quality is excellent, so hopefully everything's okay. But yeah, so all this other stuff came later. But the windmill here, yeah! I took the blueprint from the Creed Astral Discord, and I just did like a palette swap on the blocks because I wanted to use kind of different blocks for this. And so this is a thing from Create, right? So Create, the mod, lets you put down a windmill bearing and attach blocks to it, and this generates power to then power things. And initially... Oh, right. So I built this initially just to run the drills down at Bedrock to collect stone, right? And then I built that big belt that went up the staircase. That's right. And then at some point after that, I spent a lot of hours, a lot of hours digging out. We'll get back down to it. There's the shaft there, actually delivering all the power down to Bedrock. But I spent a lot of hours digging this guy out. Here we go. Let's get in here. So this is 10,000 blocks of lava. And what Create allows you to do is that if you make a hose pulley, which is this thing... Oh, it's up at the surface. Well, it's up at the surface. And you dip it into lava, and there's at least 10,000 blocks of lava. Say, like, you go to the nether. You can pump infinite amounts of lava. Infinite lava. So that's what we did here. Infinite lava. Game... Let's see. What do I want to do? Game rule... Do daylight cycle false. Time set noon. There we go. Torture chamber. Right, way down there. Because there's no nether in this mod pack, right? The nether is disabled. You can't go there. Specifically because the dimensional travel in this pack is, you go to the moon, you go to Mars, you go to Mercury, etc. So that's the idea with the pack. So there's no nether. So if you want a bunch of lava, you got to do this, or you wait until you go to the moon, because I learned after that. So all of this, the stuff I was just talking about, this is pre-moon. This is before I went to the moon. So I later learned that there's a bunch of how do you get that much for your life? Science. No, I don't know. Yeah. So here's the hose pulley, and it just hooks up the lava down there to a pipe, and then we have a pump over here. And so we eventually hooked up the windmill to pump the lava into a tank, and I think it was a little bit before we got the train set up, but we did take advantage of the lava to make a bunch of obsidian, to make one of the things that's actually part of Create, the sturdy sheets. But it's a little bit different of a process in the mod pack. A lot of the things that are in Create are modified in this pack. So we have kind of a slightly different process here, I think, than what you would normally do in vanilla Create. So Create without, without the modifications that were added in the mod pack. The trains came later. Let's see. What was next? So we spent a lot of time working on digging that out. I remember spending a lot of time between streams working on digging that hole out. And then, oh yeah, so I skipped an element of that story, right? So how did we get all the lava, right? Because before you make the 10,000 blocks of lava, you gotta get that from somewhere to fill the hole. And I think part of it's still here. If I go down, here we go. So we have a little pool of lava. So I went around and collected lava and put it here. And then I put dripstone, pointed dripstone underneath. And so this is a vanilla mechanic. You can do this in vanilla Minecraft now to get lava infinitely. And then you can use pipes from Create and pumps and stuff. And the hose pulley, again, to do the opposite, to pump from the cauldrons into a pit. So that's where all this lava came from these cauldrons over here over the course of days. You can see even now, like this has been sitting here forever without being pumped, and some of these cauldrons are still empty. But that's the benefit of like building all of this in the spawn chunks on a server where it's just running constantly, is that it just like passively did things. I think at some point while we were also doing that, I discovered the Shimmer Lake, which was really good since we needed some shimmer to make the portal to the moon. Alright, so this is our first Shimmer Lake. And I didn't end up draining this one. I ended up going to a bunch of other ones around the world to drain to get enough shimmer to put into our shimmer pool. But I'm getting ahead of myself. What happened then? What was the next thing? Definitely at some point in that process, I started building these little huts. I think this is probably one of the first ones. Probably in like the first 10 streams or so. So we have some stuff to do like milling and pressing and mixing, although we didn't have the blaze burner then because that requires going to the moon to be able to make. But yeah, it's you're not the first person to mention. It's very tight, right? So I had I think I wanted to like just have a place to do one or two things, and then I'm just fitting more and more stuff in here because I had the power, right? I think originally there were a bunch of water wheels here to power this before we connected this all up to another windmill over there. I think at that point in the playthrough there was a little area over here where I was making iron, so we just had like a little iron production thing over here that was so it was creating cobblestone. It was milling the cobblestone into gravel and then washing the gravel to get flint and iron. That's also a thing you can do just with Create by itself, so that's not really any different in this pack. But it was good to get an early start because we made so much iron that I proceeded to like do months of work just with the iron that was produced from that. And then at some point, so all of these buildings you see here that I made that are like made out of these two, the pearl bricks and the dusk bricks from Create Deco. These are all things I designed. I mean, they're honestly not that fancy, but I designed them in Creative and made blueprints and then printed them with the Create schematic cannon. And so this was the second one of these that I did. It looks a little different now because there's some cheese stacked up here for no reason. And yeah, so just some automated bulk processing with encased fans. So we have the let's see, Pokecatch. All right, I can multitask. Oh no, I'm out. Oh snap. Okay, well, whatever. I don't need that one anyway. There you go. We still have resources accumulated here in these storage units. Oh yeah, look, we still have 59 blocks of iron from that original iron farm that's not there anymore. That's how, like, just early game setup. Like, I think you were here for a lot of that, Foxy Blue, last week where I was making the Singularity. Yeah, there you go, give you a chance. Actually, what I really like about the Pokemon community game is that it's not a thing where only one person can win, right? So multiple people can catch the same Pokemon, which I think is nice. It's less about being competitive. You know, we're not, competing over the same resource. We can all have a chance. Yeah. But yeah, this is one of the things that I set up a long time ago, and I figured out I could do with this pack, and the fact that it has... Oh no, it escaped. One of the things you can do with the way this pack is set up, is that it has the compressed... I think the mod is just called compressed. I'm not competitive. You're competitive. No, but with the compressed mod, you can like take cobblestone and you can compress it, and then you can double compress it and triple compress it. And so that's what this is doing. It's just automated compressing of all the stone that we're making down at Bedrock. And so this has been going on since, this has been going on for months and months and months. So there's like millions and millions of stone of like cobblestone and diorites and andesite and granite in here. Just accumulating, which turned out to be very helpful when we were trying to make the singularity, to make the astral singularity. We needed all those blocks. That's where all that cobblestone came from. It's just like passively, passively producing it. I mined the whole planet. Yeah, that'll be. I guess that is kind of. I mean, if you assume that it's not like magic that it's creating the stone out of nothing, then I guess effectively what this is representing is we're strip mining downwards below bedrock or something. I don't know. I forget who it was. Maybe it was Meteor Livestream who put his stuff up here on top of the starter house and claimed this chunk. It's still claimed by iCodeThingsandMC as his IGN. But yeah. Then what happened? God, it's hard to like summarize over the course of like 9 months of stuff, right? Well, definitely pretty early-ish on. Well, I built a farm. This is another thing that was early on. This is what's left of the farm. Now a train runs through it. But originally this was all like farmed up. There wasn't the water there. And we just had like a little pen for collecting animals and just various farms. Some of this stuff is still here. Like bed is here. Composting setup is here. But all this is farmland to, create some initial food to survive off of while playing the game. And then this factory got created, although it took a while to get all of the train stuff hooked up. But this factory spent a lot of time idle, actually, because it took me quite a long time to get like all the supplies to like be auto-delivered. But this is our Viridium and Acerine factory. So this is something that this pack allows you to do, is it allows you to make these two minerals, Acerine and Viridium. Oh, I think I might have broken this. Anyway, it doesn't matter. We're done with this pack. I don't need to fix it. But those minerals then can be processed. I have crushing wheels in here, in fact, to process them, and you can get tin and copper from them. So this is a thing that makes tin and copper for us. Yeah, so got that going. I don't think it's anything really unique. We have a melter here to melt clay. The clay gets pumped. I actually have a short on YouTube. There's like I had a lot of fun editing it down from the like a stream down to like a minute-long video of like how this whole thing works. So I'm not going to recap that exactly, but yeah. I remember someone from the stream actually helped out. There was a critical bit, which is the scorched casting basin needs to be here as opposed to the seared one. And one of the early channel followers, Dudimus, helped out with that. We have another windmill here. This originally had a steam engine, actually, like a steam boiler setup. But I ended up needing more power, and just the windmill is kind of a safer bet. Especially back then, there were things I didn't quite get about needing to make sure that your boiler setup was, and the water supply for it was like in one chunk, and those sorts of things. Yeah, I have a command for that. There you go. And then I think the next big project would have been the stone quarry, which oh right, it's not chunk loaded over here anymore. I turned all that off. So this bit right here in the center was the key thing, right? So this replaced the original cobblestone gen that I had over at Spawn with the fancier setup. Again, this is something heavily inspired by something I saw on the Create Astral Discord and modified. So we have some create drills in a on a mechanical bearing. So the mechanical bearing is powered by the windmill up there. It doesn't use a lot of power. And what's neat about this kind of setup is then the drills. The drills don't really use power, nor does the mechanical bearing take power, like to power the drills. It just all sort of works as long as you can turn the bearing. And then eventually what I did was I replaced the bottom of this, the stuff that's under where the cobblestone gets formed by water meeting lava. Replaced the bottom of this with quadruple compressed andesite, which in this pack, when you have water and lava meeting on top of quadruple compressed andesite, it makes compressed andesite, which means every block that this produces in this cobblestone gen is 8 andesite, or 9 andesite. Sorry, yeah, 9 andesite. So it's a lot, and in fact we have a tremendous amount of compressed andesite that we never used in here. So we're talking like 1 million something andesite, minus whatever cobblestone we still had left. We still had cobblestone in this that we were feeding out to our trains. I never had to go back and retrofit things to turn the andesite back into cobble for the factories, as it turned out. Kind of the downside of taking an approach of playing a pack as big as this, not really looking at what the end game is and working out like what is the minimum needed to move forward, is that you may over-engineer things. But anyway, it was fun. So eventually, I'm gonna kind of skip around now because I don't remember the exact series of what got built when. But eventually, we did get the train base here, both to deliver the materials to this factory and to pick up materials that it's producing. And we, Deadbot 9K and Gamerbot 9K were two other folks who followed on the channel a long time ago. And got whitelisted on the server and played a good amount on here. Haven't seen them in a while. Hope they're doing well. There's one of their heads right here on this bridge. But Dabot9K built all of the concrete roads going everywhere. So I think, pretty sure I did all the rails. I don't know if anyone else did any of the railing, but Dabot9K did all of the roads around, which is nice if you're driving around in a car. We have our brass factory here. This was something. This was something that one of those things that I designed on a weekend between streams. I think I was watching someone. It might have been like Cool18 or someone playing Crusader Kings, and off on the side I was designing this in creative. And then I talked about this for like months. We're gonna build this. Finally, really needed a bunch of brass to move forward, and so we got this put down and got an initial foundry as well to process all of the metals from our other factory we were looking at before and whatnot. And that helped out with getting all the copper we needed for the brass factory. And all the trains running to and fro. Worth mentioning the tree farm over here. Never did get it hooked up to the train network, but we do have... It's quite overgrown now. I guess the contraption stopped running. So that's... or I may have turned it off. We might have been full. But yeah, so you can just... This contraption here will automatically plant saplings, and then when the trees grow up, it cuts them down and collects them, and then puts them on a belt, and that belt gets pulled into these crude storage units, which then drop into the item vault, and the item vault is then accessed by applied energistic storage and yada yada yada. So you can actually we got 33,000 oak logs in that vault there, 29,000 oak leaves, 15,000 sticks, 11,000 oak saplings, 6,000 rubber logs, 5,000 rubber saplings. So just a little bit of stuff, you know. If there was more and we needed to actually use all this stuff, we would definitely want to have some automated means, probably a train. We have a train line here that we could have extended a little bit further, but that didn't happen. There wasn't really a need. What else can we look at? So this is all the kind of stuff around spawn and the adjacent area. We have our pool, another infinite pool. This one's shimmer. So that stuff that's found down at bedrock or near to it. I went and collected 10,000 blocks of this stuff, going to a bunch of different pools and pumping it all out and pumping it all into this 10,000 block area. It's a lot of shimmer. But this meant, at least in this pack, which adds this liquid, you can also use the hose pulley to extract an infinite amount of shimmer, which is useful. We used it for a few different things along the way, and if we did like more applied energistic stuff, that all uses shimmer as well. I had started on honey as well. It's coming along. I suppose if I really wanted to get this done, I would have added more hives, bred more bees. So it's only like 5 hives in there, and they're not all full of bees. And we've already produced, you know, I don't know, 4,000 blocks of honey or something, 5,000, whatever that is. Whose head is this? So this is GameBot 9K's head. I think he ended up making a cemetery up here. So because there was a stack of heads down there, right? I told him he should make a cemetery, so that's what he did. Behind my house. So, then I decided I was going to build some stuff up here and ended up making this little house just to put all of my personal belongings in. I have sort of a cemetery here, right? So here's all my heads. So these are all the times I died. What is a Clobopus? Well, the wild one appeared anyway. What is that? 3 times 4? 12 deaths in 9 months. It's pretty good. Also some rockets. The rockets that took us to Mars and Mercury. Some stuff I never used. Tinker Workbench and other stuff from Chipped. I didn't use these too much, but here and there. We have some shipped blocks here with kind of some decorative flair. I got this painting of the sun. It was a quest reward. My bedroom over there with the curtains. Various armors and spacesuits. Are the birds still up here? Yep, we get some little robins making initially cute and then annoying sounds. Hold on one sec. I have a notification. Oh. Someone just gifted me another sub to another channel. Oh, that's nice. Alright. Anyway. And then, okay, so that's the top floor, and the bottom floor is more kind of functional. I think if you see this pretty much every stream, right? Look at me go. Oh no, escaped. Maybe it is rigged. And then below this was a cave. And I'm not doing this justice. So at some point I decided I wanted an area to build trains. Like to use the schematic cannon to assemble trains and get them prepped and set up. I really only used it once, but I spent a little bit of time thinking about it and designing it and kind of figuring out where I wanted to put it. So you can see these 2 tunnels here for in and out, right? Yeah, it's quite a it's quite a slope, right? If I was gonna continue to play this, I would fix the the things to Streamlabs didn't show up, but oh well, it's fine. So and then in here we have a little turnabout, and then this guy, which I think looks quite epic. So we have several different train bays. So then you can continue straight on or turn around. And if you were to continue straight on, you can meet up with the one that went that way. And you can either turn around and go back. I never did put the connecting part because this doesn't really go anywhere. It's a dead end. But this could have been off to another place, right? Another base. So this over here looks quite a bit like what the place at spawn looked like before I started building it up. Pretty similar anyway. Although this one has like another house embedded inside of it, but these structures get world gen in as part of the pack, so you can find these. This is telling you, hey, build trains. So I did. So if we go back up the hill, there's a village up here, and one of the things I wanted to do, but you know, got busy playing the pack, is maybe like expand the village, build it up, do like more of a steampunk village, and do things and stuff, but didn't happen. But we did build like a train turnaround here and a place for the lava. We have infinite lava, we got to deliver it places. So lava here, this is our first windmill up here to power this workshop. I think my resource pack one of the resource packs didn't load in because the roof in this is acacia, but acacia looks different by default. It looks darker, so I think I'm missing a resource pack, but whatever. Just imagine the roof is a better looking, darker color. I did eventually use Applied Energistics to automate the production of rich soil. Why? Well, I needed a farm for a certain resource we'll look over in a second. There's another windmill. I think we'll come back to the workshop because that was like the last thing, right? So the underground train station is really cool. Train maintenance bays are kind of cool, but this is what I designed as a passenger train station, so like get on and off the train. Although, so it has a cool sign here. It tells you when the train is coming. 30 seconds. Or on this side, 1 minute. So yeah, there's the train coming in. It'll wait a little bit for you to get on. And then if you get on or the time elapses, it will go off and do its thing, and it'll come back and pick up passengers from this side. So yeah. It needed some, context around it. But as the build itself, it's pretty cool. We got these create ornate iron windows. We got the wax oxidized copper shingle stairs. That is a mouthful. But pretty happy with how that turned out from a decorative perspective. Worth mentioning, coming down here. Oh, thank you. I'm glad you like it. So this I didn't build. Dabbot9K, and maybe Gamerbot too. I'm not sure how much he was involved. This was the community foundry. And he did a lot of like getting things set up to just do the thing, right? So you put in your input ores, and then they get crushed and processed, potentially multiple times if there's multiple stages, and then it all gets put into the foundry here automatically and melted down. And if you flip this lever to auto pour all ingots, it pours everything and then goes to the system output chest. And there's some stuff off to the side for like supplementary, like brass production, other kinds of alloy making electron tubes, I guess. Some other stuff in the back. Again, Deadbot9K made all this, and I helped by getting trains to deliver lava over here for fuel for the foundry. So I was the train engineer. I don't know who put this in the center. I don't think it was me. This is cool, having a little decorative pillar sort of thing in the. I guess it's kind of like a stalactite and stalagmite, except different materials. Yeah, and then this goes off to their base, the bots, the 9K bots. And we get this tunnel of death. Don't walk down this tunnel. A train will come for you. Yeah, I think pretty early on, right? Because we had to go to the moon. Eventually, I built this portal, and everything else came later. But the portal I built right here to go to the moon. Dabbot 9K again built roads. We eventually put the launch pad here too, so this could be like our launch center. Not as kind of fancy as I was originally imagining doing it, but kind of ran out of steam, if you will, for some of the decorative stuff. Can I just go through this in spectator mode? No, okay. Well, that's fine. We didn't really build, at least I didn't build anything on the other planets, except for Mars. I guess we could go to Mars. Actually, you know what? No, because if you want to see the Mars base, there is a short on my YouTube channel that has me building the little Mars base, and that's pretty much all of it. Is that I think it's like a 30-second short of arriving on Mars and trying to survive and make a sustainable oxygen production. So there's that. We don't need to cover that again. That's already covered. There is more over here though. So we saw the here's a nice top-down view of the stone quarry. Wonderful. I love some of the stuff I built too. Can you tell? And we have our train tunnel going through the mountain. Yeah, the trains are all automated, so they'll wait for a section of track to be clear before they go on, all that stuff. Here's another train coming. This one has a horse as a conductor. I had a bunch of them with foxes because the foxes make a really cute sound, but unfortunately there have been some incidents resulting in the injury, the permanent injury, non-recoverable injury of the conductors. But yeah, anyway. So this factory, yeah, unfortunately those things happen. This factory was actually the one I designed before the other one we saw that looks just like this one in general structure. I designed this one first in terms of the inner workings, and then I decided I needed that other factory, so I used the shell of this and then built all the inner workings on stream. Oh yeah, I guess you might be a little bit more sensitive about my putting the foxes to work. But here we have some very fun machinery, crushing and combining and mixing and pressing and washing and compressing and crushing into clay. And this part is still going, which is cool. So we're still producing clay. We're delivering bone meal and cobblestone from other factories, and we're producing clay. And lava is also an input here. So that took quite a while to get to the point where it would actually... I feel like something's missing here. I guess I didn't put a lightning rod in this. So I'm guessing lightning started a little fire. I'm glad the whole thing's not made out of wood. Okay. And this stuff is all Dabbot 9K. More of his work. Some awesome farms and stuff over here. The restaurant. Make and take. Other things. But again, that's all his build, so... this he also built as kind of a shared thing too, to make biofuel for us to be able to go to Mars. So thanks for that. The food and the fuel was very helpful. It made it not take a whole year to get through the pack. So that's a lot of the stuff. More trains over here picking up cobble. That's another world gen structure over there. So nothing human built. At least not this human. So someone obviously, lots of someone's made the mods and assembled this into a pack and did all that stuff. But yeah. So that's most everything. One of the big things later on in the playthrough that I built, designed and built, was this kelp farm. It's not running right now because the kelp is full, but the way it works is we have these harvesters that spin around on a mechanical bearing and collect up the kelp. The kelp is growing on top of a layer of rich soil. So that's why I automated the production of rich soil, because as you can imagine, it's a lot of rich soil to make all of these layers. Just down here to ground level. And we have a windmill to power all of that, plus the machinery to process the kelp. So we have a stack of machinery over here that takes the kelp from the rotating layer, distributes it to depots with fans blowing through campfires to smoke it into dried kelp, and then it gets compressed with the mechanical presses and the basins into dried kelp blocks, and then each layer has a little belt that drops the blocks all the way down here into a chute, into the crude storage unit and onto the belt, and the belt feeds into this item vault. Interesting. Why does it say 60? Oh, because I disabled this. Okay, I think. Not sure. Maybe it's because I'm in creative, or in spectator. Ooh, what is a semi-sage? Is that? Do I watch anime? Some from time to time. Hold on. Pokecatch. I guess I have an Ultra Ball. Why do you ask? And then we're also producing bone meal here as well. Have I seen Steins Gate? I have seen Steins Gate. It's been a few years. I tried to watch it at one point, but I was having trouble getting back into it. The counter? Oh, yeah. So it's, I think it's, NixiTube, which is a real life thing. They look sort of like this. Although IRL, you can see like little wires inside of them that like heat up. It's like, I feel like it's like a precursor to like a neon tube display sort of thing. But they are cool. IRL too. NixiTubes. But yeah, so that's part of the create mod. It allows you with these like stockpile switches and content observers to like read information out of and display. It's the only anime you've ever liked. There's so much anime out there. There's definitely different. There are certain audiences that it's aimed towards based on like the original. I caught it. I don't know what it is, but I caught it. I hope it was worth the Ultra Ball. I guess with the Pokemon community game, you get a certain amount of money every day, like paid out. So confession, I've never really watched any Pokemon. Or played any of the games. Which is really funny because what we're going to do after this is I'm going to play that Pixelmon pack, which is just like Pokemon. So I guess I'll probably learn some things. At some point we built this contraption here to make oxygen, and then Dadbot9K came over and improved it a little bit, added a tank unit to collect oxygen from it. Definitely a big MVP of the playthrough. Deadbot 9K really helped out. What have I missed? You only know the original Pokemon, never played the games, really? Yeah, I've seen like snippets here and there, incidentally, from like the Pokemon show from whenever, whenever that was. But yeah, I missed the train, like Pokemon on the because I had, this dates me, I guess, but I had the original Game Boy, and but I got Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening. Link's Awakening? No, that's not right. The one that came out on the Game Boy. The one on the island. Well, then I'm older than you. It's just how it goes. Oh yeah, we have a map. You know what's good for doing an overview of everything that's happened in the world is a map. So the village there's a village over on the other side. Oh, right. So a thing that I never really did anything with, I was hoping that others were gonna come on to the server and do things. Here's something that GamerBot9K did. It's a playable tic-tac-toe. We saw that on stream. Played a game with him back, I think that was a couple months ago. But I designed this pub. I mean, this right here looks like it could be like a scene in a video game. I mean, it is a scene in a video game, but I mean, like it's like a top down, like you see someone come in and like whatever. Anyway, very picturesque. And you got a little face. Yeah, great place to hang out. No one ever did. Whoops. There's actually a mod in this pack called Drink Beer to actually make kinds of beer with different status effects and stuff. In this, there's some mugs right there of Minor Pale Ale, a bartending table, all that. But yeah, I didn't really, besides building the thing, I never really did much more with that. And then that's the GamerBot9K stuff and Deadbots. More villages down here and various other structures. We didn't really build a lot of stuff far afield, right? Most everything kind of centered around spawn. I did have some ideas of building some further out stuff that would be like, you know, go visit it to go produce things en masse and then not keep it loaded. Yeah, it's it's Minecraft. It's always going to be an infinite world, but I definitely explored out a lot, trying to find different things. Especially, I feel like a lot of overworld exploration in the early game, and then once I got kind of the essentials like centralized, it all just happened here. I guess the last thing then is to look at the workshop. So it took quite a while. This was against the one of the things I wanted to do early on was not put everything into one big building. But eventually, it seemed that it was going to be impractical unless I wanted to spend like thousands of hours playing this pack to continue doing the little builds or bigger builds for every single little thing. And it became clear further on in the pack that it was not going to be necessary, right? To be able to get to the end game, it wouldn't be necessary to build huge factories for every single kind of resource. And I started to get that suspicion, and that's why I started to, like, okay, I'm just going to build a big shell building, which is this thing that we're in right here. So this guy. build the shell, and then I'll just build whatever in it. And if we, run into things where we need to scale up, we'll just, build a factory elsewhere and do that there. And for the most part, other than like the brass factory, everything else was fine in here. We got to the end game just fine. I mean, I didn't like 100% pack. There's still like incompleted stuff, but we got to the astral singularity, which seemed to be like the marker of how far you can go in the game thus far. This was a nice little piece of machinery. So this thing here takes dried kelp blocks, gold ingots, copper ingots. It takes Certus quartz crystals and diorite, and turns all of that through a bunch of different steps into these redstone chips, which aren't used for a lot of things, but then are used for this little factory thing that makes these navigational components that are used for certain in-game items. I don't remember them off the top of my head, but they exist. Like if you wanted to make an elytra, you needed one of these. I didn't end up making an elytra, but we did make a couple of things that needed that, like the solar cells that I used when I went to Mars and built a little base there. Used one of these, and this whole setup was very helpful for making electron tubes, which we have 63 in this item vault. I don't know why there's a copper there. It snuck its way in. But yeah, so much automation. Kind of all just like nestled in here. Alright. So, and this is where the world ended. I ate the astral singularity and the world ended. Oh no. I guess that's, well, it's not canon because we're still in the world, it still exists, but anyway, whatever. Yeah. It's a lot. This is my original clay automation. So you just put a bunch of cobblestone in here. And this is kind of the more create way of making clay. Double processing the cobblestone into gravel and sand and then washing it gets you clay. That's kind of the base create way of doing it. But we built that clay factory because that's more efficient if you can get the bone meal and the other stuff, which we eventually did. It just took some time. A thing that I wish I would have done earlier is, like, if I were to play this pack again, if I were to redo all this from scratch, I would focus on applied energistics earlier on, and I probably would have looked at a more compact. There are definitely some good options if you can get the power to use applied energistics to do your cobblestone and the other stone generation stuff. Even though the applied energistics auto crafting is disabled in this pack, I've been told, I've read in that Create Astral Discord, that it will be enabled in the next version, which means the late game, like all of these things, and even more stuff could be much more compact, and you could have a much more like applied energistics focused late game base. I'd be really interested in doing it over again, using spatial storage from applied energistics, and maybe building an in-game base on the space station in space. That might be cool. I don't know. I don't know when that's gonna happen. Who could say? But I'm ready. Yeah, speedrun. Yes. I do like speedrunning. I've not done any speedrunning myself, but I do enjoy watching people that know what they're doing. Speedrunning, whether that's like Minecraft or someone I know. A game that I've not streamed, I've threatened once or twice to stream, that I have several thousand hours in, is called Europa Universalis 4, which is like a grand strategy game. And I've actually seen people speedrun that, like speedrun a World Conquest. But that speedrun is like, a day. 10, 12 hours, something like that. I'm not going to do that. That's not good for one's health. But there's something in the middle, probably. Okay. And I didn't talk about the roundabout, but we have the roundabout. This is part of another blueprint from the Create Astral Discord that I grabbed and pasted with no reservations. But yeah, all the rail stuff is, of course, part of Create. The Create mod has the trains, it has the rails, it has the machinery. Much of what you're seeing that's not vanilla Minecraft is from Create. And then a lot of other things are from the Tech Reborn mod, and then Chipped for kind of some of the decorative blocks and, you know, odds and ends. But overall, a fun mod pack. Definitely some rough edges further into the pack, and something I could definitely see myself playing again. And that seems like a good place to stop.